This sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie, but believe it or not, it's real. Back in 1983, the US Army actually commissioned a formal investigation into consciousness, the fabric of reality, and even out-of-body experiences. What you're seeing here isn't just some theory, it's a declassified piece of history.
All right, so let's get right into it. What we're going to do here is explore a framework that suggests this official government document was just the tip of the iceberg, the first clue in a much, much bigger puzzle about what reality is and what our role in it is.
Okay, so our journey here really kicks off with these official findings from a project that was codenamed the Gateway Process. That's not me saying it. That's a direct quote from the report. We're talking decades ago. The US government was seriously looking into the idea that our minds aren't just trapped in our heads, that consciousness itself could actually reach out and touch other dimensions that exist right alongside our own. And this is where things get really interesting. The Gateway Process basically confirmed that consciousness has this potential to explore, but the sources we're digging into today go way further. They propose a much more radical idea, that consciousness doesn't just explore reality, it creates it.
So where do we go from here? Well, we're moving past a government theory about exploring other dimensions and diving headfirst into a set of fundamental laws that, according to these sources, might just be the operating system for all of existence.
So first things first, forget everything you think you know about time. Forget past, present, and future being a straight line. Instead, I want you to picture an infinite ocean of individual moments, all existing at the same time. According to this material, what we call time is just our consciousness hopping from one of these moments to the next. Now, to really get how this all works, the documents lay out this surprisingly simple but incredibly profound idea. It all starts with one core claim, that consciousness, what we experience as being aware, is the exact same thing as what physics calls light.
Right, so if you accept that first premise, that consciousness is light, and then you add this next piece, that the very stuff of reality is also made of light, well, a pretty startling conclusion starts to take shape.
And this is the big payoff, the so what of all this. This framework offers a really elegant explanation for one of the biggest mysteries in physics, the double-slit experiment. Where particles literally change their behavior just because they're being watched. And this model, it's not just observation, it's consciousness, the fundamental building block itself, interacting with and actually defining reality in that moment.
Okay, so if reality is basically a program and consciousness is the code, well, the next question is obvious, right? Is there a user's manual? And according to these sources, the answer is yes.
The first tool they talk about is this simple three-step process called ask, listen, step. Think of it like a direct line to the universe. You consciously ask for what you need to know, you train yourself to listen for the answers through your intuition, and then, crucially, you step forward and act on what you receive.
The second tool, this one completely flips our understanding of emotions on its head. So instead of seeing emotions as just these random psychological blips, this model says they are precise navigational signals, like a compass, guiding you through that infinite ocean of moments.
And look at this. It's a perfect example of how this works in practice. We're all taught that fear is a danger signal, right? A stop sign. But in this navigational system, fear is a green light. It's a signpost showing you exactly where you need to go to get what you want. The idea here is that your fear isn't a bug, it's a feature, pointing you toward growth. And then there's a third tool. And I'll admit, this one's a little more out there. It's a whole new system of mathematics, and it's supposedly designed to calculate things not just in our physical reality, but in those other dimensions the Gateway Process hinted at. Now this is where it gets really interesting. Look at how this base 7 system just fundamentally redefines things. Our math, base 10, is for this reality. This new system is meant to be interdimensional. And get this, the number 0 isn't nothing. It represents the void, the unmanifested potential of everything you're not currently focused on. And this quote, this really gets to the heart of the philosophy behind it all. Our science is obsessed with squaring the circle, trying to jam everything into the neat, rigid box of physical reality. This new math is about circling the square, embracing a model where reality is fluid, multidimensional, and whole.
All right, so we've got a new model for reality. We've got the tools to navigate it, which brings us to the biggest, most mind-blowing conclusion of this whole thing.
But a tool is only as good as the person using it. So, that begs the question, in this whole system, what are we? What is the user? And this
This is the core claim of the entire framework. And it's not a metaphor. The source material is saying that we are literally gods.
Now hold on. The word God here isn't what you might think. It's not about worship. It's more like a job description. In this model, a God is just a being that uses consciousness and focus as its tools to create entire realities and bodies, all for the purpose of having experiences to learn and grow from.
So, if we're all these powerful creators who've just forgotten who we are, what does that mean for the future of humanity? What happens when we start waking up?
Well, this quote from the source material suggests it's happening right now. It's like we're all actors in a play and someone just changed the script mid-performance. Same actors, same stage, totally different play.
And the documents put this whole shift into a huge historical context. They're basically saying, we just finished a massive 10,000-year cycle or moment, and that we're at day one of the next one, which means our current time isn't just another point in history, it's an unprecedented turning point.
So when you put it all together, what you have is this radical new way of looking at reality, at consciousness, at us. It describes a universe where we aren't just along for the ride, we're the ones creating it. And if this new script for reality really is being written as we speak, well, the final question these sources leave you with is a deeply personal one. What part are you going to write for yourself?